sit back and relax. We got a long one today. Pause. So we are going into how to build an aesthetic physique, guys. So I'm going to take you guys step by step and how to build the most, aesthetic physique that you can build. Now, obviously, with aesthetic physique, we just want to get to our best physique. We want to make improvements. It's not like our physique is going to be perfect. We're not, Alex Eubank or C-Bum or anything like that, but we're just trying to get the best physique we can. All right. Without further ado, bro, I'm looking majestic. I'm not going to lie. What the? Okay. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So what is an aesthetic physique? So V-taper physique, good shoulder to waist ratio. That's usually what makes dude aesthetic is going to be the shoulder to waist ratio. You look good in shirtless, but also in a button down shirt. And like I said, the V-taper is hitting. Some examples going to be Austin Dunham, Brian Lopez, I think his name is, David J.B. Fit, and then Alex Eubank. They have good shoulder to waist ratios. All the shoulders are like 29 inches literally. They have high muscle and low fat percentage, right? And that's why people aspire to be them. And chicks be all over them type shit, right? Because they have that physique, they have the upper chest popping, the traps popping, rear delt, side delt popping, and they're cut, right? So they have high body fat. They have high muscle mass and low body fat. That's what makes that aesthetic physique. And like I said, the V-taper as well. All right, so training for aesthetics. So when you train for aesthetics, the priority isn't strength or getting like super bulky like a bodybuilder. Those are just not the priorities. Like putting on as much muscle as possible isn't just the priority. The priority is kind of like sculpting your body in the most aesthetic way possible, getting a good shoulder to waist ratio, having enough muscle, but having like a balance as well. Like obviously making it look aesthetic. Like you don't want to have the synthol arms or synthol looking traps, or just, your traps are way bigger than, your abs. Your quads, and then your stomach is distended, but your arms are cut. Like that's not aesthetic, right? Calisthenics and hypertrophy, strength training, or strength training based, hypertrophy based strength training are the best ways, definitely. Like pull-ups, push-ups, dips are very, very important. And then, doing hypertrophy mostly 6 to 15 rep range, not always doing 1 rep range and shit like that, or not always doing 20 to 25 rep range, right? You're not training for powerlifting. You're not training for a bodybuilding show, and you're not training for a 5K. That's what you want to realize. So if someone is like, hey, man, I bet you can't outlift me, and you try to get stronger to outlift them, obviously you're going to compromise some aesthetics if you just simply focus only on strength. All right. So like I said, the goal is to look good, feel good, not primarily just doing a 5K, doing powerlifting or anything like that. All right. One of the most important factors when it comes to actually training is going to be mind-muscle connection. All right. Mind-muscle connection. All right, so this is something I thought that didn't exist when I first started lifting because I struggled with it. But as I got better with it, I noticed that my results were getting better, especially for traps, right? I had no traps when I started. So in order to get that mind muscle connection, I used to tell my homeboy, like, hey, man, touch my traps while I do these shrugs. And then I started to feel it, right? Then I got that mind muscle connection. Then over time, I got stronger and stronger and stronger with the trap movements, but I was feeling it primarily in my traps. Another thing is when you do bench press, you don't want to just go in the gym and start off with flat bench. You want to really pre-exhaust your chest, all right? That takes me to my next point, pre-exhaustion. All right, so it's essential if you want to feel the muscle that you actually want to work. Isolation movements before doing a compound movement. So, for example, before you hit the bench, if you want to actually feel your chest, you want to warm up with some pec deck. These are the things I like to do to warm up, all right? So if I'm doing a chest day and I really want to feel my chest, really want to, get a good chest pump and really get some blood flow into my chest, I'll do pec deck first for about 4 sets of 15 to 20. And I really focus on each rep and really squeezing each rep. It's not just going through the motion, squeezing each rep and filling my chest. So by the time I get to flat bench or incline Smith machine, all I feel is my upper chest. That's all I feel, right? I don't feel my triceps or my shoulders. If I just raw dog it and go straight for flat bench, I'm going to feel rotator cuff, shoulder, triceps, some abs, some traps, but I'm not going to feel as much chest. All right. So it's very important that you pre-exhaust it so you can feel primarily that muscle. Same thing for legs. If you want to feel your quads, doing leg extensions first, or even a split squat first, before you get into like actual squats or actual split machine squats or actual hack squats, is really going to help you isolate your quads and make sure that you feel it. Same thing for your back, right? I'll post a back workout. I have 2 back workouts coming out, so be patient, but I'm going to have a kind of pre-exhausting so you guys can see, because I do a straight arm pull down before I do the actual movement, just so I can really, really isolate, the lats and really feel them throughout the entire workout. And that's the most important thing. Like, you can go through the motions, you can add weight, but if you're not really feeling the muscle that you're supposed to be feeling, you're going to struggle to build and grow that muscle. Because, for example, most people who do lat pull downs, they're pulling with their biceps, maybe their traps, maybe their shoulders. They're not really pulling with their lats, and that's going to affect their lat progress as well. All right. So doing your isolation movements before compound movements is a big one. Now, another thing you can do is you can pyramid. Like pyramiding counts too. Now I know like if you guys see my workouts, it looks like high volume, but I should probably delete like the sets that are warm ups, but I include sets that are warm up. So like if I pyramid, I do like 6 sets and I do 20, then 15. Those are basically essentially warm up sets. Like for example, some YouTubers will be like, I do low volume, but they're doing warm up sets, which I would count. So that's technically like they're doing the same volume as I am. It looks like I do high volume though, but warm up sets, you could do warm up sets. So if you're gonna do incline barbell, if I'm doing incline barbell, the pec deck's taken, everything else is taken, I'll go straight to the incline barbell. I might do 1 set of push-ups, but then I'll just do incline barbell with just the bar. I'll do like 40 reps to get some blood flow in my chest. And I'll just put one plate on there and do like 20 reps. Then my chest will be warmed up. And then I can actually get into like my working sets, right? All right. This is something you guys got to realize, all right? Consistency seems to be most people's kryptonite. And consistency is literally the most important part of the journey. Like nothing works without consistency. Obviously, nutrition, losing fat doesn't work without consistency. Getting stronger is impossible without consistency, right? Building muscle, impossible without consistency. Remember, aesthetic physique requires you to have a moderate to high amount of muscle and low body fat. What did I say? Moderate to high amount of muscle mass. All right, so that takes time. That's not going to happen in 1 day. It's not going to happen in 2 days. All right, you got to be consistent. High muscle mass, high body fat is an aesthetic. Low body fat, low muscle mass is an aesthetic. You need moderate to high muscle mass and low body fat to be aesthetic, guys. All right, so build the muscle mass. So as men, we're going to build 35 to 45 pounds of muscle in our lifetime, maybe 50, you know what I mean? Naturally. So majority of that muscle is going to be built in the first 4 to 5 years. Obviously, after 2 years, you're going to see a decent amount of progress because you'll probably have built anywhere from 25 to 35 in that range already. So you got to remember that progressive overload is going to be very, very important when it comes to actually building muscle. Because, for example, if you're trying to grow your quads, but you've been squatting 135 for 10 years, you're not going to grow your quads. You need to make sure that you're going up in weight. All right. So, for example, in order for my chest to grow, I did a lot of, like I said, I did pre-exhaustion, but I did incline dumbbell and I did incline Smith machine and incline barbell. So while I was doing these movements, I was making sure I was writing down how much I was doing for each set. And then every time I completed all sets, for example, if I'm doing 4 sets of, 10 on incline barbell, if I'm doing that with 155 and I got all 4 sets of 10, then the next week I'll increase it by 5 to 10 pounds. All right. And then if I get all 4 sets of 10, I'll increase it by 5 to 10 pounds. Eventually I'll be repping 225 for 4 sets of 10. People will be like, oh my God, are you on steroids? How are you that strong? It's just from consistency and progressively overloading and being intentional with it. You have to write these things down. If I don't write down how much I lift, what's going to happen is when I go into the gym, I'm going to be like, hey, I think I lifted 135 last time. Then I lift 135. I'm like, that's kind of light. And then you up it a little bit. You go to 145. You're like, that's still kind of light. And then by your 5th set, you're finally at the right weight. But now it's like, okay, well, I'm done with this workout, right? You're always going to be starting at the wrong weight if you don't actually track. It's very important to track. You got to be intentional with all your movements. All right. And then while you're in your strength gaining phase, if you're skinny, fat, or super skinny, then you definitely want to lean bulk. Lean bulking is going to help you because it's going to put you in a slight caloric surplus. It's going to be easier for you to build muscle like that. And it's going to be easier to progressively overload. Like, let's be honest, guys. How much easier is it to lift heavy when you have excess calories in your system? When you're eating extra rice, extra potatoes before your workout, right? Or throughout the day. It's like way easier than when you're on a cut. It's way easier to get stronger, guys. So lean bulking is a great thing to do. Dirty bulking, you're usually going to gain too much fat. So I would definitely recommend lean bulking because you can do it for longer anyways. Like you can lean bulk for a year and still be relatively lean versus if you dirty bulk, you're going to have to like cut after like 6 months because you got so fat. You see what I'm saying? All right. So you've bulked and you've built the muscle. Now what the fuck do you do? So to get the V-taper, guys, you got to remember, obviously, like I said earlier, you're gaining the muscle, you're gaining the lats, you're gaining the shoulders. Yeah. You got that. Good job. Now your waist has to get smaller while you maintain the muscle mass. So what does that mean? That means all you got to do is go in a calorie deficit and actually lose the fat. Now, because you want to maintain shoulder size and lat size and all that stuff, you want to be in a high protein calorie deficit. The high protein will ensure that you maintain as much muscle as possible, which is super important while you're losing the fat, guys. Because what it's going to look like is a body recomp. It's going to look like you gained a lot of muscle and lost fat when in reality you just lost fat and maintained muscle, as much muscle as possible. So the most aesthetic body fat is usually 7 to 12%. As you can see right here, he's probably like 10%, 8%. He's probably 8% right here. He's probably like 10% here. And then he's probably like 6%. You see what I'm saying? So those are like the most aesthetic ranges of body fat. So getting leaner is going to be super, super important because a lot of people I've noticed, a lot of people are like, hey man, I can't see my abs. What's going on? I used to see them. I used to be able to see my abs. And it's like, all right, hit me up on Instagram. They hit me up on Instagram and they send me a picture and it's like, dude, you're 40% body fat. Of course you can't see your abs. Like abs are not coming through 40% body fat. You got to lose body fat percentage. All right. So that's one of the most important things as well. Once you built up the muscle, getting down to a low enough body fat percentage that you can see the V taper, you can see the cuts in the shoulder, you can see, the abs, all that stuff is going to take body fat percentage, guys. All right. You guys probably cannot see this, which is great because I definitely messed up, guys, but let's run it. Let's run it. All right. So in order to find your calorie deficit, you're going to go into calorie calculator. For example, if you're 411, 350, okay, I'm just kidding. But yeah, you're going to go into calorie calculator, or you can use Harris Benedict formula, or you can use MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal is where is a good place to track calories. So if you were to just go into MyFitnessPal, they probably give you a rough estimate of what your calories should be anyways. And what you're going to want to do is eat more whole foods, follow the 95-5 rule, but I don't recommend anybody who's like 100 or 50 pounds overweight to even think about cheat meals because obviously if you're that fucking heavy, you've had way too many cheat meals already. Like if you're 100 pounds overweight, that means for the past 5 years, you've had like cheat meals 95% of the time. Like you don't need no more of those motherfuckers, guys. Let's be honest. You don't need no more cheat meals. If you are 100 pounds overweight, that means you've been eating cheat meals for 5 to 10 years straight, no stops. So in order to undo that and change your actual habits, you just need to change the way you look at food and surround yourself with different foods, right? So I don't recommend the 95-5 for those people. Now, when you get to your goal, then you can start to incorporate a cheat meal here or there. But yeah, you definitely got to change your outlook on food first. You got to consistently be in a deficit, obviously, till you reach the lower body fat. So like I said, if you bulk up, you're 21% body fat and you really want to get aesthetic, getting down to that 10 to, that 7 to 12 range will be your best bet. So abs, vascularity, V taper, the cut in the shoulders, more prominent muscle definition, all of that comes with being in a consistent deficit, guys. So that's going to be the most important thing when it comes to that is going to be you being in a deficit consistently, guys. All right. Now, let's go for the best exercise for each movement. This is my home gym. So, all right. So overall back squats, because it's going to build your quads, your hamstrings, all of that, right? Leg extensions are great for just the quads to warm them up like pre-exhausting. Hack squats are great for the quads, hamstrings, hamstring curls, and slow dumbbell deadlifts. Obviously, calf raises for calves. All right, best exercises for upper body. All right, so people are probably asked this the most. These are the most asked questions. So let me get into this. This is like the most asked questions for sure. So when it comes to your upper chest, obviously, Smith machine incline is the best. Dumbbell incline is the best, but I do like if you do, like I said earlier, doing like pec deck first or doing cable flies first so you can actually feel the movement. If you do not do the cable flies first or the pec deck first and you're relatively new to the gym or intermediate or you struggle with chest, it is going to be hard for you to build a massive chest, all right? And another thing I want to say about chest is your chest is going to look like ass until you get like leaner anyways. Like your chest is going to kind of look like, it's going to look like gorilla titties. And then once you get leaner, it's going to look like bigger. You know what I mean? This is without a chest pump, but it's going to look like lean. Obviously, it's going to look way better when you get leaner because you're going to lose a lot of the lower chest fat. I had a lot of lower chest fat that I lost. So you lose a lot of that over time. And then it's going to start to shape out way better, especially when you prioritize these. All right. And then shoulders, rear delt flyers, bro. Rear delt flies are going to be great because, my rear delts came up a little bit, but you guys probably think they're still small. They are pretty small now, but they did improve. And that's all that matters. Listen, progress over perfection. I'm working on it. Progress over perfection. I do hit them all the time. They're very hard to grow, but at least they're better than they were when I started. Side raises are going to be your best friend too. Just absolutely hammering out side raises and even incorporating partials too. Side raises are one of those movements where you can get away with going to failure for sure because that shit like works specifically for side raises or doing like drop sets with side raises. Lat pull downs are going to be great for your lats. Of course, you got to make sure you can do pull-ups first. And then rows are great for thickness. So you got seated rows, you got dumbbell rows, you got barbell rows, all good. All really good. Now for arms, tricep push ones. What the fuck? Tricep push down. So tricep push downs are going to be obviously hitting your tricep. And so will close grip bench. But your triceps are 2/3 of your arm. So hitting that most is going to make your arm look bigger. Curls obviously are good enough for your arms. Like doing regular curls and hammer curls consistently. If you're doing consistently, your arms are going to shape out. All right. And then for your traps, if you want, like the fact that I even have a trap is insane because I literally had no traps. So the fact that you can even see this trap is insane to me. But Smith machine shrugs will be your best bet. All right. And getting stronger in it. I got up to when my traps were growing and I was lean bulking, Oh, I probably dirty bulking because I was a fat ass. Yeah. When my traps were growing and I was dirty bulking, I went from like 2 plates on Smith machine shrugs to like 6 plates on that Smith machine. I swear to God, bro, I'm not even playing. And that's what really made them grow. But I was filling my traps. My form wasn't bad. Like my form was staying the same, and I was increasing the weight. Progressive overload, obviously. All right, best splits are the Arnold split, bro split. I like push pull legs because you hit everything twice in a 6 or 8 day period. If you're just a thug and you thug it out and you just do push pull legs, no rest, and then do push pull leg, you are a G, bro. You are a G. Or you can do push pull legs and then rest and then pushing legs. You can do that too, whatever you prefer. But push pull legs usually helps you hit everything. One push day, I'll prioritize. It's so funny how I put weighted crunches and hanging leg raises there, and I never fucking hit that shit. This shit's embarrassing. I always put that shit there, and I never hit it. But anyways, let me not tell on myself. I'm gonna keep myself innocent. But anyways, one day I focus mostly on chest for push day, and the next chest day I focus on shoulders. The next push day I focus on shoulders, and then for pull, one pull day is width, and the other pull day is thickness. Right, so I have a little bit of variety, but I find that width is usually more, more for aesthetics. Obviously, you want some thickness, but width is usually better for aesthetics. Yeah, I said thickness. Pause. All right. One more time, guys. You guys need, I'm trying to hammer this home because this is literally everybody's kryptonite. This is what everybody struggles with. Like people, they start with the right formula, but they're not consistent enough to let it work. Because like I said, nothing works without consistency. I know faith without works is dead, but faith without consistent work is really dead. Because when you do some shit that works, but you only did for 7 days, how the fuck are you gonna know if it works or not? You see what I'm saying? Like how are you gonna know it works? So you gotta give it time, guys. You gotta give it time. Like look at this. This is me in high school when I was getting cooked. And this is what is this, like 2 years ago when I was like I think I was like 203 here before I got fat as shit. Right. So key to bringing it, the key to progress, guys, is progressive overload, obviously, building muscle and being consistent, guys. Being consistent in the kitchen and in the gym. Both things matter. You cannot be a warrior in the gym, the most consistent in the gym, and then when it comes to the kitchen, you just ignore everything. And you just like, here's the thing. The people who go to the gym, work out, and then they leave the gym and they go to McDonald's, they literally they have to be the most frustrated people on earth because they're literally canceling out everything they're doing. They're putting on extra fat after they go to the gym. Because here's the thing. Here's why I don't pay attention to quote unquote fat burning or, oh, how much fat did I burn today, calories, all that shit. I don't really pay attention to that because when you type everything into a MyFitnessPal or Harry Benedict formula, or like when you calculate your calories initially, it's going to be based on, what you're going to burn on average. So if you burn extra, it doesn't mean you eat extra, right? Because it's just not how it works. That's not how it works, guys. Like the fastest way to actually lose weight and lose fat is staying in that calorie deficit via nutrition. If you do extra cardio, your body's probably just going to be a little bit more stressed, or it's going to try to adjust or some shit like that, right? So it's very, very important that you lock in on the kitchen. You focus on the kitchen, all right? All right. Patience, 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 guys. Obviously, years of laziness is, the reason why you aren't at your goals, the reason you have a big ass stomach, the reason you're skinny as shit, the reason you're not at your goal, the reason you don't have the chest that you want, the reason that you have low confidence is because of laziness and inconsistency, smoking weed, giving into instant gratification day in and day out. That's the reason that you're not at your goals. So locking in is very important, guys, and being very patient. You got to be patient, guys. You got to realize that the reason they say the process works because the process works, right? The process works. Give it time to work. All right, look at this shit. Did you think this dude would have traps and a shoulder and arms one day? I'm literally sticking bones. Everyone was like, oh, you got bad genetics, just give up on it type shit. And now, literally, every day I go on live, they're like, nah, bro, you just have good genetics. That's why you look like that. It's like, nah, bro, it's the work. The work works. Don't discredit my shit, bro. Do not discredit the work, bro. The work works. So if I could do it from starting here, bro, you can do, what was that, like ninth grade here? Fuck, you look like this in ninth grade, bro. Shit's embarrassing, bro. I wore the same shirts from 5th grade to like 10th grade, bro. I'm not roasting myself, but damn. All right, so it takes time to build a muscle, right? Listen, and to lose the fat. It took you years to gain the fat that you have right now, and you've been doing the same shit over and over. You got to remember the time's going to pass regardless. You might as well be at your fucking goals. Stop procrastinating, guys. It's not doing anything. Aren't you sick of your own excuses? Nobody, including yourself, believes your excuses. So why are you even saying them? And do not say them to me. I don't believe the shit. People will be like, man, I promise this is the week I'm going to do good. I don't give a shit. I know you won't because you didn't last week when you said that. And you don't believe yourself. So obviously I don't even care. It's not my concern. I don't care. Like you said you're going to do good. I know you're not because you said the same thing last week and the week before that and 52 weeks before that and for the past 10 years. So come on. All right. So In a nutshell, guys, why most people do not have an aesthetic physique, why people don't have the chest they want, the shoulders they want, the physique they want, is honestly lack of discipline. They have the victim mindset. They think everything is happening to them and they have no control over anything. Once you realize that you are not the victim, it gives you all the power to be the hero in your own story. But if you continue to be the victim, you're just waiting to get saved by some shit. You think Superman's gonna come in this motherfucker. You think Captain Underpants is coming from somewhere. He's not coming, bro. You gotta help yourself. If you do not help yourself, you will not be helped in this life. All right, this is how it works. Once you realize that, you're gonna be like, okay. And then, like I said in the last slide, people make excuses why they can't reach their goals. Nobody, including themselves, believes their damn excuses. Like, yeah, man, eating healthy is too expensive. No, the fuck it's not. You getting a number one at Chick-fil-A that's $31 every single day is expensive as shit. Your Uber Eats orders are expensive as shit. But guess what? You have no discipline, so you just say, yeah, eating healthy is expensive. No, the fuck it's not. Stop eating cookies at night. You can't put the fork down. That's the real fucking problem, bro. Stop blaming random shit, bro. Like, your boss yelling at you yesterday has nothing to do with you binge eating. You should have went to the gym and took out any anger that you had or something. Like, what the fuck, yo? And then, of course, we got inconsistency. Like I said earlier, I spelled it wrong, I know. But like I said earlier, a lot of people's kryptonite is just inconsistency. Like, people cannot put together consistency. Like, one day they're good, the next day they're not. One day they're good, one day the next day they're not. It's up and down, up and down, up and down. And up and down leads to what? Even. Like, if you do everything you need to one day and you do everything you're not supposed to the next day, you're just going to keep canceling it out. And be like, I'm doing the work. You're not doing it consistently, so you're not building momentum. You're not going to make the progress you want to make. Stop going half in. Stop trying to give nutrition 60%. You give nutrition 60%, you aim for that, you're probably going to actually execute 40% and you can see zero results. All right. And the lack of structure, obviously. People just go in the gym and, they feel like they want to lose belly fat, so they do some ab work. Then they want to get bigger arms, so they do curls. Then they do an hour in the stair stepper and get out. Like, what the fuck was that workout? That's your workout. You're not getting any results like that. Goodbye. All right, guys. One more thing you want to do is track your progress, obviously. Like I said, I already said this shit earlier about tracking progress, like tracking your food and shit like that. Tracking your food is going to be one of the biggest eye openers out there. It's going to be very important. Mirror selfies will help as well, because sometimes over a 3-month period, you're seeing yourself all the time in the mirror, obviously. So if you take like a picture every month or something like that, and then after 3 months you put them side by side, you'll be impressed at the results. But you see yourself in the mirror every day, so you're not going to see your progress, and you're your biggest critic, so you're going to downplay your own success 24/7. All right. Weigh yourself weekly as well. 1 to 2 pounds is a damn good amount. But the thing is, you're going to lose 0 pounds. You can lose 0 pounds for 2-3 weeks. And then the 4th week, you can lose 4 or 5 pounds. Like, it can happen. So don't only focus on the weight. Also focus on your waist size. It's going to be very, very important, because you can literally gain weight and lose fat. You can maintain the same weight and lose fat, right? It happens all the time. Notice how your clothes fit. Track how you feel. Track your waist in the gym. All those things, because they do matter. You can gain muscle and not lose a pound, guys, but lose fat as well. So the scale could say like, okay, I'm the same weight, but you can look different in clothes. You can be stronger and your waist could be smaller. All right, guys. Other things to know, like I said earlier, get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. A gallon of water a day. That's a must, right? I'm already halfway through because I don't fuck around, right? I actually do what I say. A lot of you motherfuckers don't do what you say type shit. I do what I say, all right? I do this shit. Protein powders, Optimum Nutrition is good. Isopure is good. Diametize is good. Rise is good. You can do ashwagandha, yohimbe pre-workout caffeine. Dandelion root can help you if you struggle with bloating. Or you can just do like a dandelion root tea or something like that. It's a lot more simple. All right. Training for aesthetics, I'm going to say this one more time. It doesn't prioritize strength or mass, all right? Now, obviously, you want to progressively overload, and obviously, you want to build some mass, but those are not the priorities, all right? Like, if you prioritize strength, that means you literally are doing 4 sets of 3 to 6 on, like, deadlift and bench and shit like that, all right? That's not what you're doing when you're training for aesthetics. When you're training for aesthetics, you're doing more. You're doing some drop sets, you're doing higher rep ranges, like, 8 to 15 range mostly, all right? 15% body fat, like around here, or 12 or whatever the fuck this is. People are like, okay, you look good, but like you get down here, people start accusing you of roids, half natty and all that shit. But that's usually when you get most aesthetic. 7 to 12 range, 9 to 11 range, somewhere in the estimate. That's where you start to get like really, really lean. All right, guys. So if you're looking for one-on-one coaching, you really want to lose belly fat, you're serious about your goals, like I said, serious about your goals, you want to lock in and you're really ready to commit. You're sick of, looking down and not being able to see a Johnson because you got a big ass stomach. You're sick of going to the gym and not getting results. You're sick of being inconsistent. You need accountability. Hit your boy up, man, and we'll get you locked in. We'll add you to the community and we'll get you started, man. Book a call in the bio description. It's called the description, not the bio. Have a blessed day.